Okay, so I'm going to do something that's called side loading, and it's a little bit hard to or understand, so I'm going to try to explain it the best that I can. So this is actually an angled brush, but you can do this with a flat brush as well. This is a 3/8 brush. So I'm going into this blue color that I did in the centers, and I'm on top of my paper. I just put it in the corner, so that's why it's called side loading, and I'm just kind of letting it fade out. So the darkest part is in the corner and it fades to the end there. And so essentially I have a nice little, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a fade. So it's like darkest to lightest. And because I did that so many times, I probably need to add a little bit more water. So the darkest part of my shadow is going to be that corner that I have the paint, and the lightest part is going to be towards the other edge. So I'm just using this around some of my flowers, and I have another brush which I'm going to call a mop-up brush that I'm just going back through with that shadow, and I'm just kind of dabbing it so that there's no hard edges. But I'm just giving this flower kind of a presence in the painting so that there's some more dimension in there. So I'm going around the edges basically of the flowers, and then I'm mopping. And then I'm going to continue to side load. So I'm just going to do that now through all of the flowers. And I'm going to do it next to, so if there's a flower that is next on top of or in front of another flower, I'm going to go ahead and do that there as well. I'm recording. You can get something if you want, if you need it, but...
Okay. Yeah, just let me get my V-Bay.
So I'm going to go ahead in some of these petals and add a little bit of dark to the colors that I was using. So I'm doing a mixture, but I want to just have some darks in there. I'm mixing blue and orange together, which actually just makes a neutral color. So if you take two colors that are complementary colors or contrasting colors and you mix them together, they create a neutral color. And so I'm just doing that a little bit just so I can add some dimension to these flowers. So I'm putting this darker color in there, and then I'm probably going to go through and add some more pink again on top of it. This is one of the things about painting that's really interesting and teaching, is that there's a lot of process that goes into it. And just like with you, when you're not happy or you're just trying to work through it, the same. When I paint, it's a lot of working through things. It's not really a formula. And so part of that is just working until you are happy with what you have. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here is I'm adding darks and lights and petals. I don't want a strong line on the side. I want it to be more jaggedy because I don't want it to look like just this. I want it to look natural. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly. So I'm going in with some neutral lights just so that we're not so strong in the primary colors. I'm also mixing some pink and green together for the pinkish colors just to make a neutral pink. So this is going to add some dimension there. So can you tell it's not a very pretty color actually, but it's like the neutral of that color of pink is adding just a touch of green with it because green and red are opposite on the color wheel. It creates what would be a dark for that color. So I'm going to go back in and brighten it up again, but I need more dimension here. So that's, as I'm looking at the painting, that's what I'm seeing is it needs more dimension. So that's what I'm adding as some neutrals. I really hope this is helpful. I'm kind of feeling like this was a funky lesson to throw in there at the end, but I really wanted to do something that my heart was in, and this is kind of the style of painting that I've been painting the last few weeks, and I'm enjoying it, and so I wanted to share that with you instead. So I'm just going to continue to add pink. It's going to have some neutral in my brush still because it's already in there, but I'm just going to slowly dilute that, I guess, and just continue to add colors. So this is just on the other side of most of the petals, the lighter color of petals, just to give it that darker color, the shadow in there. So now I'm going to go back in with my lights again because I'm getting the color that I was hoping for, that darker shadow in there. And now I'm going to go back in with some lights. I'm just still using that flat brush. I'm using the flat edge there for my petals now. And you can just pull down from the edge, the top edge here, like I'm doing. I think I'll give you a close-up now so you can see better. So I'll work on this big one here. It has a lot of peach and pink, so I'm going to add some of those colors in there. And I'll show you. So I have the edge, this top edge, this very flat edge. And I'm just going to go at the top and pull down. So it kind of gives it that, and even sometimes I might just completely add some white up there. So it gives it that highlight. And because it has some lines in it, it kind of gives it that same texture as a petal would have. So again, I'm doing kind of the same thing I did in the beginning there. I'm just laying in some brush strokes that represent petals. I'm just kind of cleaning up any lines that need to be cleaned up. So I'm just taking my brush on the edge of most of these petals now that I found, and I'm just giving it a clean edge. And that's kind of the last thing I'm going to do with my petals here. So I have a lot of white in my brush now. I've continued to add more and more white just to lighten it, lighten it, lighten it, and that's kind of where my brush is at right now. And I'm just, like I said, giving a lot of the petals an edge at this point. I'll probably go back through back here and just kind of give some edges, just tapping like a straight edge back here just to continue that in the background here. And then I think I would like to neutralize my green a little bit. I like it, but I feel like it's very bright. So I'm gonna, I think I'm just gonna go in with a softer green to go along with the softer colors. And really, like I said before, this is just a working and working until you're happy. And I'm feeling a lot better about those. I think I will add in a little bit of the teal to the centers that I added. So these here, I'm just going to add in a lighter color to soften them a little bit. And I'm just using a scruffy brush and I'm going to tap in. So it looks like there's some texture in there. I just added a little bit of white and I'm tapping with this scruffy texture, and that's giving some kind of little dot type of thing, so it looks like the inside of a flower. Okay, so I'm gonna go get my neutral green. Okay, so this is a Hauser Light Americana green. It's just a craft green. It's pre-mixed, so it's different than what I used before because I was using the tube paints before, but this is a craft green, and you could do tube paints with this whole painting, or I mean craft paints with this whole painting. I just chose to use my tubes. So I'm going to go in and soften up these greens. This is just a round brush that I'm using. So I'm still leaving the bright green through there here and there, but I'm just putting some softer colors in there, and actually I'm like way happier with it now. That was really what was bothering me. So color is a big deal, and if you are feeling like, okay, something's wrong, sometimes just adding in a better color really makes a big difference. So this is just, like I said, it's a very neutral kind of an avocado light green, and it matches the tone a little bit better of the flowers. Okay, so now I'm just adding a touch of white to that green just to give another dimension there, here and there. And I'm tapping it with my finger so it's not too strong, but and even just giving it some soft dry brushing in the back, just going into the sky there. Okay. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do is, I know I keep saying this, I have a watercolor brush and a very watery amount of gesso in there, and I'm just going around the flowers a little bit with that watered down gesso color. I'm going around the edges, and then I'm just kind of scruffling it with my finger because I want these flowers to stand out more. I'm also going to go around the edge of the stem. I'm leaving a little bit of that blue that I did before. That is annoying, I'm sorry. So, like I said, I'm just going around the flower a little bit. To give it a nice soft spring feeling, and to really kind of make them stand out. So here I'm going around the stem. Oh, you can't see it. I'm going around the stem a little bit. It's pretty transparent how much water I have, so you're still gonna see those textures in the background, but it's just softening them up a little bit. So really it's a glaze of gesso. It's very thin. So definitely make sure to get around those stems so you can see them, because they pretty much disappeared in the background. Alright, so that's about it. You just need to make them stand out a little bit with the gesso, and you've got a beautiful flower painting.
Come to me, oh, you broken and heavy hearted. Come to me, oh, you worried and weary souls. Come to me, oh, you overworked and underpaid. And I will give, I will give, I will give you rest. Come to me, oh, you widows and outcasts. Come to me, oh, you betrayed and fatherless. And I will give, I will give, I will give you rest. My yoke is easy, and I'm meek and mild. You will find rest for your soul. My yoke is easy, and I'm meek and mild. And you will find rest for your soul.